All right, so if you look at the learning target, apply Pythagorean theorem to determine the unknown side lengths in right triangles in a real life situations. And also apply Pythagorean theorem to find the distance between the 2 points in a coordinate system. Okay, so the Pythagorean theorem is definitely helps you guys to, finding the unknown sides of a right triangle. Plus, and also if you want to find the distance between 2 points, and definitely you can use the Pythagorean theorem. Okay. Okay. So if I look at this one carefully, there are so many kind of like we can say a same and difference too. In this case, I can see it's a 90 degrees. It's a right triangle. Triangle. So this one, I don't think it's not a right angle triangle. And this one is isosceles triangle. We can say that because there's two sides the same. But coming to this one, what do you guys think? It is a I mean, it is a right triangle or not? What do you guys think? Put them in the chat box. This one, B, is a right triangle or not? Think and let me know. That's good. You say this is A and B are right triangle. How do we know this is a right triangle? How do we know? The only one way we can check is, yeah, go ahead, please. A squared plus B squared equals C squared or not. So we're going to check this one. If they're equal, then it is a right triangle. If they're not equal, then it's not a right triangle. So A squared means, let's say this is A, and this is B, but we don't, okay, so that's good. Now A squared means 3 squared plus 4 squared equal 5 squared. 3 squared is 3 times 3, 9. 4 squared equal 25. So when I combine 9 plus 16, that's 25 equals 25. Yes. So that means it is a right angle triangle. Because sometimes we can't take it as granted this one is 90 degrees because the little bar, like this little box, is not given. If the little box like this is given to you, then you know it's 90 degrees. If it is not given, you can't take it by looking at the picture. You guys understand that? It is really important you follow the picture and make sure you guys understand whether it is 90 degrees or not. If it is not given, we cannot take it as a granted. This is a 90 degrees. Only way we can check, use the Pythagorean theorem. If it is equal, then it is 90 degrees or right triangle. If not, this is not a right triangle. So this question definitely we can see since it could be, as you guys say, write all these, could be a volume question and also how many paintbrushes we can fit in. But let's see, since we are learning the Pythagorean theorem, how we can apply Pythagorean theorem in this one. So now the question is, Chai has a box for her paintbrushes. The box has a right rectangular prism. What's the longest paintbrush that will fit in the box? Longest paintbrush. Let's think about it. Okay, so for this question, definitely we would like to find out what is the longest paintbrush can fit in this. I think it's probably the longest will be from this corner to the all the way that corner. We're not looking at this corner though. Are you guys paying attention? We're not looking at this. This one is not longest. The longest will be this corner to the other corner of the room. Okay. So how do we find that? So since we don't have any kind of like direct right triangle, so we need to figure out a few things more. And what are we going to do right in this case? I'm going to break it down this one into like this. First, if you see this right triangular prism, and the bottom part, let me show you guys with the pointer. So the bottom of the floor. The bottom of the floor, I cut them as the bottom of the floor is 90 degrees because wall to wall, it's a 90 degrees. So if I use that one right here, this is a 90 degrees, right? If you look at the bottom, like if you look at your ground there, this is a 90 degrees triangle. So from this, if I know these values, I can find the hypotenuse. Why? How? I use the Pythagorean theorem. And once I have this one, and then I'm going to use this one as the another leg, and this one I was the another leg, and I'm going to find the longest diagonal. Okay, so in this question, whenever you're finding the longest diagonal or the longest hole that fit in the room, you have to use Pythagorean theorem 2 times. Okay, use the Pythagorean theorem 2 times. Okay, so let's go ahead and then use the Pythagorean theorem on this one. So I'm going to use a different color. Okay. So the first one, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the Pythagorean theorem. So the Pythagorean theorem for the 4 here, and then 3 right here. So if I use the formula, what does it say? A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Or c squared equals a squared plus b squared. So it's 4 squared plus 3 squared equals c squared. That's a 16 plus 9 equals c squared. That is 25 c squared. And then square root. What times what is 25? C is 5. So I got the C. C is 5. So this is 5. But now, if I look at it carefully, eyes on the screen, everybody, so you don't miss this one. Now, if I see this is the one side, and this is the another side, and this is another side. So that looks like this, another Pythagorean. So now this is, I know this is 5. I'm going to apply a Pythagorean theorem again for this one, so I can get the longest one. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do, I'll use the Pythagorean theorem again. It says, in this case, c squared plus 12 squared equal e squared. You guys understand that? Leg square plus leg square is the hypotenuse square. So let's use the numbers. That's a 5 squared plus 12 squared is e squared. All right, so we'll continue this one. So 5 squared is 25 plus 12 squared is 144. That is e squared. Now add these two, which is 169 is e squared. But you know what is the square root of 169? What times what gives you 169? So the e is 13. Okay? So the longest paintbrush can fit in is the 13, if it is inches or centimeter, whatever it is. Okay, so that's going to be the answer for this one. Okay, go ahead and copy this one or write it down or finish this one. Then we'll move on to the next. This is another model for the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so last one, we applied the Pythagorean theorem 2 times. So one is for the smaller, the bottom one, and the other one is the bigger one using the Pythagorean theorem 2 times. So this is the one triangle and this is also another triangle. But I'm going to show you guys a quick way of completing this question just to get the answer faster. So the diagonal or the longest side, so formula will be square root a squared plus b squared plus c squared. So this is a quick way of doing these questions, because some of the teachers even doesn't know that one. So I'm going to help you guys with this. That way you can get the answer way faster. So let's take the a and b and c. A, b, and c's are the numbers given to you, the side lengths. So a, b, c are the side lengths. So a squared, it's 4 squared plus 3 squared and plus 12 squared. So those are the sides are given to you. This is 4, 3, and then 12. So if I use that one here, that's going to be 16 plus 9 plus 144. So let's go ahead and then add these numbers. 16 plus 9, it's 25, plus 144, that's 169. So it's a square root of 169. but you know the square root, which is basically 13 times 13. So it's 13. So the longest side is 13. The same thing we got, but here is only one time you find this, apply the formula and you get the answer way faster than the other model. All right, guys. So anytime they ask you for the longest diagonal, please use this way. So that way it's easier and it's no mistakes on this way. All right, next one. Now let's look into the apply portion of this one. So there's a 9 and then 12 and 8. The rectangular prism side lengths are given to you. 9, 12, and 8. So the one way you can find the diagonal of this one, and then, so use the Pythagorean theorem for this bottom part, and then we can apply the Pythagorean theorem for the top part also. But instead of doing that, as I mentioned in the last question, so the longest side, which is PQ, so use the formula of a squared plus b squared plus c squared, which are the side lengths given to you. So it's going to be a squared means 9 squared plus 12 squared plus 8 squared. So square means times the same number again. So 9 squared is 9 times 9, which is 81. 12 squared, it's 12 times 12, which is 144. And then 8 squared is 64. So let's add these numbers, and then we'll find the square root. So we should get the answer for this one, longest side. So 81 plus 144 plus 64, it gives you 289. What's the square root of 289? What times what gives you 289? 17. Plus or minus, but we can't take a negative because it's a side length. It has to be a positive. So the PQ is the 17. Okay, so that's how you guys solve these questions. So take your time and complete this one on the slide. Alrighty, the same way, try this question. They give you the 5, 3, and 8. So apply the same formula, square root of a squared plus b squared and c squared. Then you get the longest diagonal. Okay, so complete this one so that we can submit it. You will get the points for this class. Thank you guys, and we'll continue in the next class.